There we go. All right. Um, for those of you, I think I know all of you. Most of you I met in person. Patrick, we haven't met in person yet. But I'm Jennifer. I am the foundation director and ProStart coordinator for the Connecticut Hospitality Educational Foundation. Welcome all of you to management judging for the Connecticut ProStart Invitational, which will be next Wednesday, March 1st at Duncan Park in Hartford. We will be in both the YG Club and the community room to do our work for management. So the judges will be in the conference room to do feedback and just having a place to sit down and read proposals. And then the actual presentations will be in the community room, which is on the first level when you first enter into their main offices, which is like right on the corner there. ProStart. I don't, Brendan, you're experienced. Patrick, I know that you know ProStart. Allison, obviously you do. Ruben, do I need to go over ProStart for you?
Nope.
Okay. It's a 2-year program. It can be even longer than that. So they can start as early as their freshman year, depending on the program. I know some of our high schools will get students in their second semester and start funneling them through the program, which is awesome. Makes for great seniors by the time that they're there, really prepared and great qualified candidates for employment and for our competition. We are at I think it's actually over 150,000 students nationwide. In Connecticut, we're at over 17 high schools and over 2,200 students are enrolled in ProStart right now. That's a huge jump from last year. We were at about 1,500 last year, and now we're at over 2,200. So we've added a couple big schools and a couple big programs. Excuse me. And we just continue to grow, which is awesome. ProStart all starts with the curriculum. So the competition is kind of our excitement and all that, but it all starts in the classroom. So they're all learning, and the book is Foundations of Restaurant Management and Culinary Arts. So they're learning restaurant management and culinary all at the same time. When they choose to use the book, they get to participate in programs like the ProStart Invitational. So everything leads to NIPSI, which is the National ProStart Invitational. The winning team from Connecticut and all of the winning teams from across the country get to go on to compete at the National ProStart Invitational, which is in Washington, D.C., May 2nd through 4th. There'll be over 90 teams, at least 40 from each culinary and management, competing for the top spots and lots of scholarship dollars, which is awesome. So for our management teams, they demonstrate their knowledge of the restaurant and food service industry by developing a new restaurant concept and presenting it to all of you. The teams will submit a written proposal for review, as well as presenting their concepts to various judges through verbal presentations, Q&A, and their posters. The big things they're judged on is their concept, menu and costing, operations, marketing, and then critical thinking. We are going to, okay, so this year we have 4 culinary teams from 3 high schools. So we have Enfield, Wilbercross, and Windsor. We have 2 management teams from Enfield and Wilbercross. That being said, our team from Wilbercross has placed in the top 10 nationally the past 4 national competitions. So we might be small, but we're mighty. So I think the judges who have helped get them there, the guidance that they've given, and also their mentors and their educator who has really just dug in. And Enfield has also been competing for several years, and I can tell you that they know they've got the best. They're going up against the best in the country, so they know what it takes to get there, and the improvement that they've made over the past few years is very, very inspiring and incredible. So that's exciting. quick shout out to our sponsors. This is for the for the Connecticut ProStart Invitational. Subway has been a huge sponsor for us for several years. PFG. This year, the Connecticut Army National Guard has also come in to both judge and sponsor, which is awesome. Falvey has been a longtime supporter of ours. Union League, University of New Haven School of Business is a new sponsor. Sardelli, Gordon Foods, and J. Timothy's. Also, the Yard Goats works with us to make the event affordable so that we can host it at Duncan Park, which has been awesome. Cisco is providing the lunch sponsor, all the food for lunch. Carrie Gagnon's Dunkin' Donuts is providing breakfast. So we'll have some bagels and muffins, coffee, all that good stuff. Coke is doing beverages. And again, Falvey providing uniforms. Okay, the schedule. So Jeanette, thank you for joining. I just saw you come in. We are going back to the, the trade show format that we used for several years. And they did do it again at NIPSI last year. I didn't do it this way last year because of COVID. I just thought it would be a little bit better to have one team at a time. But we're going back to the trade show format. So I'm gonna just really quick. So this is a picture. Can you see the picture here? I don't know if you can see it.
Yep, I see it.
So basically, both teams will be going at the same time, and you as judges are going at the same time. They'll be a few feet away from each other. One getting questioned about concept, and the other one will be getting questioned about menu and costing. And then you guys flip-flop. So the judges will have different categories that they're addressing to the different groups. So at 10-10, so Wilbur Cross is going to be team A, and Enfield is team B. So at 10-10, the concept judges will be talking to Wilbur Cross, and at 10-10, the menu and costing judges will be talking to Enfield. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have for assignments right now, which I'm going to send it out to all of you. Menu and operations, and then critical A, and then broken up, and then marketing and concept is together, and critical B. So I'm going to send this all to you so you can review. So then when you're reviewing the proposals, you only need to judge on those sections. And those are the sections that you'll be asking questions about during the actual day. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Allison, does this make sense to you?
Yes.
She says yes. Okay. And then we are going to, the proposals should be in by 3 p.m. on Monday. They were going to be in on Friday, but one of the schools is closed today due to a water main break, and they're not sure if they'll be back in even tomorrow. So he asked for extension, so I just put it out to Monday. So hopefully you'll be able to have time to review that. And then that is a draft proposal. They can make minor changes after that, but it's only 2 days, so they really shouldn't be making too many changes. I mean, it should be done by now. They will present their final proposals at 8:30 on Wednesday, and you'll get those books, and we'll have about an hour and a half before we get to this section, just to see if they've made any changes. Does anybody have any questions about this part? I'm also going to email out all the rubrics and all of that, so you know what you're supposed to be looking for in all of this. I think Ruben's looking like, what did I get myself into?
Ouch. just back here, just like, I'll explain it to you later.
All right. Then we move on. Okay, so menu and costing. So there's only 12 items allowed. So that's one of the big things. Very specific requirements, and if there's any gray areas. So our team who went to national last year actually got a deduction for this, because they had flavors of their sorbet, which were then interpreted as 3 different items. So it literally can only be 12 items. And if there's questions about that as they come in, I'll probably just look at the proposals and tell you whether or not they meet the requirement and let you guys know, because it's so convoluted. They can't have alcohol, and then the templates and costing are all in the rules. There's some changes to like the 1%, I think, for all they can do for is salt and pepper, I think, this year. Everything else needs to be costed out. And frying oil only if it's in the actual menu. Operations, layout and floor plan, interior and decor and org chart. That should be org chart, not charge, sorry. So that's the operations section. Concept, you're going to review making sure you meet the requirements of ProStart bill, which is all in the rules, which I sent out to everyone, and make sure that it makes sense. The concept also reviews the SWOT analysis and their depth of knowledge of they understand what their concept actually is. Marketing, again, they're limited to 2 tactics. Social media can be used, but it can't be a tactic on its own. So it must be a specific use of what they're doing with social media. And do the tactics match the concept? And they also do their return on investment. And then all sections are judged on their presentation. So typically what they do and what they should do is give you a little overview, you have 7 minutes to judge each section. So they should be talking for maybe 3 to 4 minutes, and then you have 3 to 4 minutes to ask questions. So there's not a whole lot of time to go out to do this. So be very specific on when you're looking at it and what they presented, where you see questions, if there's holes in their presentation, if there's, something that's missing, those are the big things. Questions that might be able to enhance them moving forward. It's a learning event, right? So engaging, asking questions, encouraging them. I wouldn't make suggestions during the actual presentation of something that they should change. That can definitely be addressed during feedback. But while they're doing their presentation, making changes at that time isn't appropriate. You can do that during feedback. Does anybody have any questions about this part at all?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Critical thinking. So these will be the categories for critical thinking. So critical thinking A, you will be asking questions about menu development and design. So critical thinking has its own 7 minutes. They are scenarios, right? So you're not necessarily asking them questions about, well, why did you do this in your plan, or asking them questions about that. This is asking a scenario of how they would run their business, right? So in menu, these are 2 sample questions. So menu development design, you don't sell as much of the filet as you anticipated Friday night. What do you do with the extra, right? Now, you're not going to ask that question if they don't have filet on their menu. Okay, right? So if they're like a fish house, you're going to ask them something about, fish, or something about their menu. A guest at your steakhouse is a vegetarian. What can you serve him or her? You could do the other, so again, these are 2 steakhouse type questions based on menu. but obviously if they don't, it has to be, there's, I would say, different thoughts on whether or not teams need to be asked the same questions. I don't think they do. I think they should be more of their own concept specific, but something similar. The other topic for critical thinking A will be human resources and staffing. So these again are 2 sample questions. One of your employees reports that he's being bullied. How would you address it? Who would you speak to first? I guess calls the day after dining place, the server added an extra $5 to their tip. How do you address it? Honestly, I think these are in the rules. So they have these questions. You could ask them. I would like to think that they've come up with a good answer for it, but you can definitely ask any other human resource and staffing questions. If you need me to help you create sample questions, I'm happy to do that. But I also, you guys are the ones that are reading the proposals and know what to ask. I think different concepts are going to have different human resource questions that should be addressed. Right. So if it's like a quick service, you're not going to necessarily have a $5 tip added. Okay, critical thinking B. Social media, I always keep this as a critical thinking because it's almost always one of the questions at nationals. It's so relevant in today's world, how to handle things regarding social media. And again, these are samples that are in the rules. So coming up with something different for social media questions. And then concept knowledge. And these are 2 of the sample questions. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I went through this very quickly. No?
Honestly, you've done a good job, so
Yeah.
that's why.
I mean, I'm always here. I believe Liz from our office is going to be running the management competition this year. It's a little bit different, so it's mostly just timing and keeping you all on track. Unless I go to management and let them run culinary, I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm pretty usually up on the culinary floor. So making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing up there. But she'll be the timer and making sure people, know which category. And it's very, start, okay, you've got 2 minutes left. You've got, it's the timing is very specific with this one to make sure that we get done on time. And then once we finish, we've got about 45 minutes. I put feedback at 11:45, but we can even push it to 12. And then lunch will be between 12:30 and 12:45 starting, hopefully. And that is a buffet lunch right out the whole where the culinary competition occurs, gets flipped over for lunch. So we'll be there. And then we do awards and we're done. Any other questions?
All good.
All right. So 8:30 start. That's when they'll be giving their proposals. So if you want to read the final version before you start asking questions, I would get there then. And then the booth setup start at 10 and then we get started. So that's about it.
Awesome.
The parking is across the street. It is $5 cash. There's no online payment until after 9 a.m. So just come prepared for that.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Cool. I'm excited to have you all, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.